everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we're going to be doing a good old-fashioned empties video. I know these are not wildly popular anymore, but I love them still. I think it is so helpful to see what people have used up and what they think about it overall. First impressions are great, favorites are great, but until you've dedicated the time and energy to finishing something up, you don't always know 100% how you feel about it. And most of these I have really strong opinions on. Now, this is not all of the empties that I've used up since the last time you saw an empties video with me. I have filmed either one or two, but I haven't gotten them edited and uploaded, and then too much time had passed and you don't care. But I have a ton here in this little basket and it is time. So let's go ahead and see what I've used up in the recent. So just a little heads up, since I'm not sure exactly where I am with a lot of my panning updates or things like that, there very well may be some spoilers in here, but I have some really exciting empties that I just can't wait to talk about. So, sorry not sorry? Kind of, sort of. Let's start with hair care. So I did finish up a little sample from Way. This was a hair mask and I did not enjoy it. Full disclosure, as I mentioned when I did update this, because I'm pretty sure I have, I don't know how old it was, but it was almost like the consistency of shampoo. I didn't feel like it really coated my hair. I didn't feel like it did anything for my hair. In fact, once I finished with this, I felt like I needed to go in with conditioner again because this just did not do anything for me. However, because I don't know how old it was, I don't know if that's indicative of how it would perform brand new, but I didn't see anything from this that would make me want to purchase one in order to compare it. There are other hair masks that I have much more love and affection for, so just take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Now I have another empty from Way. I've got a few Way sample empties. This is the leave-in conditioner. And this one I liked just fine. It was incredibly thick though. It is probably the thickest leave-in conditioner that I have ever used in a spray format. And when it was full, it worked just fine. But as it got closer to the bottom, it would not come out the sprayer for anything. So I had to dump it into my hand, which at the end of the day, not the worst thing ever. But as I said with the hair mask, there are other spraying conditioners that I like a whole lot more. So while this one I have no issues with how it performed, it just isn't something I'm going to purchase. Now, something that I am going to repurchase is this right here. This is the Pureology spraying conditioner. This is the Color Fanatic Multitasking Leave-In Spray. I purchased this because Abby Young raves about it, and for a good reason. I really enjoyed this. This is one that I'm definitely going to be repurchasing when it comes around to the Sephora sale or one of the Ulta sales or something like that. I have a few other spray and leave-in conditioner products that I'm going to be working on in the meantime, but this is definitely going to be a repurchase. I did very much like it. I don't know that I have the same affection for this Batiste Dry Shampoo Overnight Deep Cleanse. This was fine. This was fine. So this was a Instagram made me buy it purchase. There was somebody using it and I thought, well, that seems neat. It's an overnight deep cleanse. I have very thick hair and I only wash it once or twice a week. So having a good oomph to my dry shampoo seemed like a great idea. In my opinion, this did not perform any better or any differently than the regular Batiste dry shampoos that I've used in the past. Does that mean that it's bad? Absolutely not. I like Batiste. The reason that I'm feeling kind of meh about it is because I paid full price for this. Usually with Batiste products, I buy them at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, stuff like that. I don't purchase them full price. I did purchase this one full price, and I would not repurchase at full price because, again, I don't think that it worked any better or any differently than the experiences that I have with just the regular Batiste dry shampoo. So I will continue to repurchase that at a discount. And if I saw this again at a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx, I would pick it up. I just don't see the reason to buy this brand at full price when you can always find it at a discount. That is all that I have for hair. I do have one body care product, and that rounds out the end of my Way samples. So this was their hair and body scrub. I liked this. I did not use it on my hair. I only used it on my body. The granules in it were actually quite large. So for my hair, it just was never going to penetrate down to my scalp. So I didn't even try. But I did use it on my body, and I liked it. I'm not sure that I would purchase it at full price though, because Way is quite expensive. The granules in it were larger and more abrasive than what I typically gravitate towards. However, they also break down much more easily. So you get a good rough exfoliant, but not so rough, and it doesn't stick around so long that you can actually like damage your skin, or at least in my opinion. But the other thing that I really liked about it is that it had a really gentle foaming action to it as well. It was just an actual real pleasure to use. If you're trying to compare grits, then think of like Tree Hut. Tree Hut, this is a very similar grit size and feeling to it, but it broke down a little bit faster than the Tree Hut does, so I didn't feel like I was damaging my skin. Now, with that being said, I think the full size is like $48, and I can't. I can't spend that kind of money on a body scrub, especially when something like Tree Hut is like $10, $12. To be honest with you though, I prefer a finer grit. So for me, I really like the Dove body polishes. But if this were to magically appear again, yeah, sure, I would use it. I cannot imagine purchasing it at full price. I finally used up this baby right here. This is my Sephora brush cleaner. And I say finally because I have been adding all of my little like sample size cleansing pucks that I've gotten over the years to this, and to the like, because usually when you're using the cleanser, it gets like a depression in the center, and then you hit pan, and so I would just pop one of those really small samples in there, let the soaps kind of amalgamate together and stuff like that. I've already repurchased this because I do like the Sephora cleansing formula. I just wish that they sold the puck by itself. I hate having to repurchase the plastic container that it comes in. I feel like that's terribly unnecessary, but I do think it's a good product. I just wish that I could get it in a different format. Let's talk a little bit about some skincare, and then I have a ton of makeup empties. I am so stinking proud of myself. So stinking proud of myself. So let's start with this guy right here. This is from Amore Pacific. This is the Vintage Single Extract Essence. Didn't enjoy it. Much like the Way hair mask though, it's super old. I think I got this in like 2017, 2018, something like that. So it was not at its prime, and it didn't do anything negative for my skin, but it didn't do anything positive for it either. And this is a very expensive product. So I am not wowed enough to want to purchase the full size to see if it was just an age issue or not. I used up yet another of the Clinique Moisture Surges. I think that's, yeah, Moisture Surge 72 hour, blah, blah, blah. I will never buy one of these because they just randomly show up in sample sizes in like everything. And for me, it's just an okay product. I don't feel like it gives enough deep moisture to my skin, and it really just kind of sits on top. So it's not a bad product, but it's definitely one that I will not purchase, nor do I need to. I did enjoy this little sample of the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Cream, but I don't know why. And the reason I say that is because I've used samples of this in the past that have been much more cream-like. This one had kind of a stiffer, almost like salve sort of consistency to it that I really liked. I really liked it. I felt like it stuck to my skin really well. It gave deep, hydrating nourishment to my skin as I slept. Really enjoyed it. But I'm not sure why this one felt different than some of the other ones I'd used in the past. So I do have another sample of this that came in some sort of like Ulta sampler kit thing. So jury is out, but that one I liked. I finished off the last of my 4th Ray face milks. This one is in the oat scent, flavor, something. I like these. These are fine. I don't think they're anything special. They gave a nice hydrated feel to my skin, but at my age, I need more from my serums. If you don't need a lot, then these are a good option. They're, you know, rather on the inexpensive side when it comes to serums and things like that. They do go off very quickly though, so if you're gonna buy them, don't buy them in bulk. Because they do get to smelling a little funky. But yeah, no, I have nothing negative to say about it, but it's not something that I think I'm going to repurchase because at 42 years old, I just need more from my serums. It took me like a year and a half, but I finally finished off this eye cream from Wildcat. This is the Orchid Stem Cell Magnolia Berry Adaptogen Eye Gel. This took me an eternity to use up because the gel itself was quite thin and it had a lot of spread to it. So you only needed just the smallest amount for each eye. I think it was fine. I don't have any eye creams or eye gels that I'm like over the moon for. And this one did not fit that bill either. So I'm sure it's fine. I wasn't wowed by it, and I am still on the hunt for an eye cream that I am wowed by. So I don't really know what to take away from that. I did finish off a Clinique Take Off the Day Makeup Removing Balm. This is a good balm. It really is. Is it going to dethrone my Pharmacy Green Clean? Of course it is not, because nothing has, and I'm starting to feel like nothing ever will. But this is definitely in the top 5 for me when it comes to the makeup removing balms that I've used over the years. This is an excellent option and one that I do definitely recommend. I just recommend the Pharmacy one more. And finally, for skincare, I have this little sample of the Dr. Jart Ceramidin, I think is how you say that. I loved this. I loved this. I have purchased it many for myself and for my husband, and once the Sephora sale rolls around again in the fall, I will be purchasing a full size as well. This was fabulous. So this is a skin barrier moisturizing cream, and I felt it. You don't need a whole ton. It is a stiffer, kind of thicker formula, but it doesn't drag or tug at the skin. It definitely applies really nicely, and I can still feel my skin feeling plumped and hydrated and nourished in the morning, and I have been just absolutely wowed by it. I really, really like this, and it's one that I am happy to repurchase. So big win there. And everything else is makeup, and I have a ton of full-size stuff in here too. I have some so super exciting empties. So the first thing we can talk about is going to be my Tower 28 SOS spray. Technically this is skincare, but I use it as a makeup fixing spray. I've talked about this in the past. I don't need necessarily longevity. I really just use a makeup fixing spray to kind of meld all the powders together. This did wonderfully for that because it's got skincare ingredients in it, and it's supposed to help with redness in your skin. I've already repurchased another one. I really enjoyed this a lot. I finished off a primer. So this is from Kaja. This is the Blur Drop Primer. This was kind of a hydrating, silicone-y sort of primer, and I enjoyed it. I took forever to use it up because I just haven't been in a primer sort of phase this past year, but I am thrilled that I got it all used up because I have too much makeup. I finished off a mini of the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer, and that name is a lie. That name is a lie. Well, at least in my experience. This was not radiant, and this was not Beautiful Skin. This was very, very dry and heavy and cakey on my under eyes. In fact, in order to use it up, I actually would put it on first and then put my foundation over it just to give some life back to my under eye area. This is not something that I have any interest in purchasing. Also from Charlotte Tilbury, I did use up the Retoucher Concealer Wand. So this is one of the ones that has a brush tip that you twist up and product dispenses out of. And if I had to choose one of them to use again, it would probably be this one, but that isn't necessarily a ringing endorsement. So this has a very lightweight and thin consistency. So again, if you don't have a lot of under eye struggles, then you probably would like this. It's hydrating, it doesn't look heavy or cakey, but again, 42 years old, 3 children, very little sleep. I need some help underneath the under eyes, and this I just didn't feel like did enough for me. So again, I'm glad that I used it up and got all of my money's worth out of it, but it's not something that I would repurchase because it just doesn't suit my needs personally. And I guess we'll go with the last thing that I would not repurchase, and that is this eyeshadow primer from Rare Beauty. I love Rare Beauty, and I have come across very few items that I don't like from them, and this unfortunately is one of them. For me, this just didn't do what I needed it to do, and in fact, I would notice that there would be times when eyeshadow simply would not stick to the outer corners of my eye, or it would stick on one side but not on the other. Like, it was wild, it was finicky, and it was just not my favorite. I feel like there are better ones on the market for me personally and what I need from it. So I am glad that I did get it used up and got my money's worth. I pulled the stopper. I used honestly just as much as I could possibly get out of there. But I am happy to see it go because I'm not really a fan. I used up a mini mascara from Rare Beauty. This I did like quite a bit. This is the Perfect Strokes Volumizing Mascara. Really liked this a lot. This has been getting some rave reviews, and for good reason. It really gave me thick, fluffy lashes without having any transfer or flaking, and I did enjoy it quite a bit. This is one that I would definitely consider purchasing in a full size. I just have a whole lot of mascaras, so I don't really need to be purchasing mascara. And down to my last 3 makeup empties, which are the most exciting. The first one is from Tarte. This is my Maracuja Juicy Lip. I dug every last little teeny weeny little bit out of there. The kind of clicker stops working way sooner than I feel like it should. But I got every little last drop of it. I really love this formula, and I'm so happy that this kind of formula has really been taking off. There have been so many other brands that have come out with something very similar to this. I think they're great. I have either 3 or 4 others in different shades in my drawer here that I will be working on as well, because these are they're fantastic. I really like them. I used up a bronzer. I used up my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Again, I've been working on this for ages now. And I finally finished it, and I am so stinking happy. This is the second bronzer that I've ever used up. I used up a Becca bronzer a couple of years ago, so I'm just absolutely stoked to have an empty bronzer going into the basket. The other thing that I'm incredibly excited about is that I also finished off a highlighter. So this is from ColourPop. This is one of their Super Shock Cheeks. This was in the shade Fire. It was a collab that they did with Kathleen Lights a few years ago. And it's all done. It's all done. I am giddy. I've never ever finished off a highlighter before. I've never ever finished off a Super Shock product before. So this really tickles me to have that as an empty, and I feel really, really good and accomplished about it. And so now I'm just on to something else, and it feels really good. So those are all of the empties that I have. Like I said, I'm feeling really great about the empties that I've got. But I'm looking around and there's not a lot to follow it up. So it might be another couple of months before we do another empties video, but I think this one was great. If you have enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing before you leave. Also, let me know, what have you finished off lately, and would you repurchase it, and do you recommend it? I would love to hear your thoughts. As always, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.